Hello, hello, my little dragon friends. My name is Ariel. I am the Sassy Dragon, and I welcome you back to my channel. Today I am doing a perfume review that I'm really excited about because this is a blind review for this perfume. I had not tried it before this, and so I was able to get a sample of this very expensive perfume, but also one that's extremely popular these days is the Baccarat Rouge 540 Extrait de Parfum. And I'm going to try to say this correctly, from the Maison Francis Kurkdjian. I don't know if that's correct, but we're going to say it that way, Kurkdjian. But this is a popular one. I've heard a lot about it. I've heard people draw similarities between it and Burberry Her, so I also got a sample of Burberry Her to try along with this. This is also a perfume that I got the dupe for from Dossier, and Dossier is one that I've really been liking a lot. I went ahead and got about 6 different perfumes from them. They are a company that does duplicate scents of, famous and or expensive designer scents, and so far so good. I've really liked this one. This is their version of Baccarat Rouge 540 called Ambery Saffron. So I'm going to compare and contrast these two. I have not yet smelled the original one, so we're going to smell that one. I have tried the duplicate so far, so I'm very curious to see how this one turns out. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to spray the original. This is my little sample bottle that I was able to get a hold of. So I'm going to go ahead and put that on my left. I can already tell you it smells quite a lot like the Dossier version. Very, very similar. Okay, so as we let that one dry down, I'm going to go ahead and take the Dossier version of this scent and put that on my right. Okay, right away, the difference that I'm sensing already, the original is just a tiny bit fruitier coming out the first spray, initial impression. It's a little bit more tart. There's just a subtle tart tanginess that's not as strong in the dupe. I'm gonna tell you, and maybe this is a good thing, but I actually like the duplicate. I actually right away like the Dossier one, and maybe it's because I already smelled it before, but I actually like this one a little bit better right on first impression of spraying these two. Wow. The difference is the duplicate, I'm getting a little bit more woods, a little bit fresher, whereas the original, I'm definitely getting more of that jasmine in there in the beginning. The jasmine and also a little bit of that tangy fruit note. So on fragrantica.com, you can go on there and check the notes. Now on their perfume pyramid for this scent, the top notes are the bitter almond and saffron, middle notes are the jasmine and cedar, base notes are the ambergris, woods, and musk. Now on the Dossier dupe, and it's very nice what they do is when you get a perfume from them, they send you a little card that has the notes written out on it. Now their version, it's more. There's more stuff included on their notes. On their top is saffron and orange blossom, middle is jasmine, plum, and cedarwood, base notes is oak moss, fir balsam, and amber. So yeah, the original definitely is a little bit more citrus and a little more jasmine in this. Where the original, I definitely am getting a little bit more of the woods. But what I'm going to say about this perfume is I really do like it. I enjoy it quite a bit. what you will see people talking about this fragrance is saying it smells luxurious, it smells like money, it smells like, you know, just that scent of, you know, very classic, very like indulgent when you smell it. And it does have that feeling to it, no doubt. It definitely has this like very fancy hotel smell. Like it has that like really like, ooh, to me, it's funny, but this perfume, it doesn't smell like a new car or a new handbag, but it's that aesthetic of what that feels like when you smell that new car or that new handbag. It's like that. This is new perfume smell, right? It has that real luxurious scent. And the odd thing about this is even though the fruitiness that's in it, the only fruit note that's mentioned on this is the plum. But it ends up having a little bit of this berry scent. And that is why I think people have likened it to the Burberry Her. Now, I have not smelled this back to back with Burberry Her. I have smelled this before. To me, it's very strawberry strong. So I'm just going to spray a little bit of this on my hand here, just to see what I think. I think it's going to be quite different, though. Oh, yeah. No, Burberry Her is a totally different vibe coming out. The similarity is that it's got that fruity note and that freshness, because what I feel from the Baccarat Rouge, it has this airiness to it. It's a very interesting fragrance. This one comes from a relatively new house, this Francis Kurkdjian, or however you say that properly. They have only been around since 2009, and this was released in 2017. I'm not sure exactly what like made this perfume start getting so strong into, you know, public consciousness lately, but like the last year or so, you know, like you just keep hearing about this perfume. But they made it in conjunction with the Baccarat Crystal company. It's been around forever, and it was a big anniversary, so they created a special scent for them, and that's where it came from. But it has this very nice blend of fragrances, and it's different than a lot of things. There's not a lot that smells exactly like it. I've never really smelled anything quite like this one, which is nice. It's a literal breath of fresh air. When you smell something, then it's not quite the same. And it really does a great job at balancing, you know, some of that, the floral, the woods, and the way that the woods are done is so smooth, because, you know, a lot of times if there's fir or oak, moss, cedarwood, some of those things can be very, very pungent, and they tend to overwhelm a perfume. But in this, it just blends so seamlessly into the base. You don't feel like, oh, boy, I'm really smelling the fir. Oh, I'm really smelling the cedar. It's like, it's not, those woodsy notes are not punching you in the face at all. So it's really well balanced. My feeling, the reason that people are drawing some associations from the Burberry Her perfume, and that's the original EDP, not one of the many flankers of Burberry Her. That's the original that they're comparing it to. I do get that interesting fruitiness, because like I said, even though there's not strawberry notes included in the Baccarat Rouge original, there's something about it that ends up smelling a little bit like a strawberry. It's really unusual. And I've got to tell you guys, this is going to save y'all a lot of money. It's going to save me a lot of money. But I actually really like the Dossier version of this Baccarat Rouge 540. I don't have a contract with them. I'm not getting paid to promote them. I just actually think I like it a little bit better. And the reason for that is because the jasmine in the original is a little bit too present for me. And it's not that I don't like jasmine, but that's the difference. It almost, not really, but almost borders on like being a little bit stinky. You know how sometimes jasmine can be just a little bit funky? Just a little bit, right? Not always, but sometimes it's a little bit of that kind of and it almost borders on that for me. So I have to say that when it comes to these two guys, I like the copycat from Dossier better than the original, which is a good thing. It's a good thing. But they are very similar. Very, very, very similar. So if you really are into this scent and you don't want to pay over $300 for a bottle of their perfume, I tell you, give this a shot, because this is really hitting it really strongly, and I do like it. The Burberry is very strawberry. Like, once you put them side by side, they're obviously very different, but I can understand why a lot of people think that they're similar. I really can, because just that little bit of that strawberry note, and there's something about the Burberry Her that has that freshness. There is an airiness to the Baccarat Rouge 540 that is very nice. Not sure what the Burberry Her is getting that from. Let's look it up. I'm just very curious. And as always, I got to plug Fragrantica.com. That's just Fragrantica.com. I love using them to look up perfume notes. I do it for pretty much any time I review something. Anytime I'm looking up a perfume to try to decide if I want to buy it or not, it's always a thing for me. So let's look at the notes, just out of curiosity, in Burberry Her, to see where that's coming from. Okay, so obviously the berries are very strong on top. Strawberry, raspberry, blackberry mix is very strong on the top of Burberry Her. In the middle, just like on the middle of Baccarat Rouge, it does have the jasmine, and in the dry down, it does have the oak moss, it does have the amber, the woods. There you go. That's where you're really getting it. So that's where Burberry and Baccarat are both getting that sort of airy yet earthy dry down that keeps it from being too syrupy and sweet. Is from that oak moss woods amber base. So both of them have that. But it's interesting because, you know, they both do have a little bit of that strawberry note, in my opinion, even though it is not featured in the Baccarat Rouge breakdown. But I like this. This is a gorgeous fragrance. Whether you can afford to purchase the original one, get the original one, much more jasmine-y. The original is more jasmine. If you like more jasmine in the blend and it's worth it to you, yeah, go for the original. But if you're not as concerned about that and you just want something that's a good copy of this perfume, try the Dossier one. I've been extremely happy so far with all the perfumes that I've bought from them. They send it to you in a nice box with a little thing, and the little top, there's a little name, and then they send you this nice card that goes with it that tells you all the notes and what it's based on, what it's inspired by. And I really do like the sleekness of these bottles, because it's a nice little magnetized top, just clicks right onto place so it won't just fall off in your bag or anything. And because it's not an overly decorative bottle, this is very easy to travel with. So yeah, guys, excited to try this one finally. I wanted to get a hold of this for a minute, and it's a really fascinating journey. Now, if you don't like either one of these, if you don't like the saffron note in the top, because that's definitely in there, very strong, you know, the saffron note is very, very noticeable in both the original and the Dossier dupe. If you're not into that at all and you like the fruity side of it, yes, go for the Burberry Her, because that one is an abundance of fruits, but it has the same oak moss, amber, and fir kind of, you know, woodsy dry down that's very similar. So I would say too, like, the reason I probably didn't, I love strawberries, but I didn't get deeply into Burberry Her because it's just a little bit too simplistic. I would say the Baccarat Rouge is a little bit more complex on the fragrance breakdown, to my nose anyway. There's something about the Burberry Her that reminds me of a really fruity, nice shampoo. It's a nice shampoo, but it's still a fruity shampoo. But whatever works for your nose, whatever you like, I always say wear whatever you enjoy the most, guys. Leave your thoughts as always below, along with anything that you might like me to try in the future, because I'm always open to smelling new things. So take care, y'all, and I'll see you soon. Bye for now.